Okay, welcome to Pages Pixels, everybody. May is over, actually. We're sitting here in June, and that means it's time for May Power Rankings. As a reminder, Power Rankings is kind of a sports term where you're talking about, hey, which teams not necessarily have been the best throughout the season, but lately, maybe a week, a month, whatever. Right now, it's the Knicks. Let's go. Uh, but when it comes to May, in terms of movies, we're going to be talking about the best movies, best and worst movies of May of 2026. We're going to go over three good movies or shows and two bad or disappointing ones. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Kevin.
Thanks for having me, Rohan.
Real quick before we get started, please do subscribe to the Pages Pixels YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our videos. And then make sure you like this video and turn on notifications. It helps us out. All right, let's talk some movies. So, you want to start out with the worst, or you want to start out with the best?
Hmm. I want to get started with the best because I actually think this is this has been such an exciting year for movies so far. Like I think the last few times we've done this, I've had a movie that was not from 2026 on the list
Mm-hmm.
because I just felt like I hadn't seen enough. But this time I actually feel like I've watched all like very current, recent releases,
Okay.
and all of the best ones came out this year. It came out last month specifically.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. I will say before we get into it, um, kind of somewhat agree. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was having some trouble coming up with the worst part. That's why I threw in the or disappointing uh, disclaimer because I had to get a little creative. But I mean, I guess that's a good thing because overall, I was pretty happy with most of what I watched in March. There are some things that I missed. I have not seen The Mandalorian Grogu, and probably more important than that, I have not seen Obsession yet. Just haven't gotten a chance to watch it. So, Obsession, if it's not on my list, that is the reason.
Are you too scared to watch it?
No, I want to watch it, but I was told I was, you know, I was a little sick, so I didn't get to go to the movies, and then there was other stuff that came out, and then it was kind of like, hey, do I watch Obsession or do I watch Backrooms? And then I ended up choosing Backrooms.
I thought you were going to say you were like heavily influenced to watch the Backrooms instead.
That wasn't heavy influence, but
Right. Well, I mean, we're getting started with the best. Should I go first?
sure, you can just do the three, two, one.
Three, two, one.
Like, start out with three and then go to two and then go to one.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, my number three best um would have to be I Love Boosters. This is the new Boots Riley movie, and I really enjoyed that we had a movie that was as colorful and as funny and as creative as this. Um, I do think that I enjoyed Sorry to Bother You like a little bit more than I Love Boosters, but I enjoyed both of them a lot. I think that there's such a crazy unique style that Boots Riley brings to the table that is just so fun to watch.
I think I did see this movie. It's not on my list, but I did like it quite a bit. I wouldn't go so far as to say I loved it. I think, but I agree. I mean, it's super bright, super colorful. I think thematically, um, relevant. I just think, I just think that there's, for me, the only reason it didn't quite make my list and I didn't quite love it was because I feel like towards the middle portion, um, I don't know. I think the style I started getting a little like tired of it. Sometimes that happens with very, very heavily stylized movies, but I don't respect it any less. I think overall it's a great movie.
I think for some people heavily stylized movies like Wes Anderson, it can be like a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but that said, I do think that um, Boots Riley. I mean, he only has two movies. Wes Anderson
Hmm.
has had like 8 or 9 movies that I feel like are really like very much the same style. So I kind of
Hmm.
feel like with Riley, I think it's just a little bit more forgivable.
Hmm.
That he's like just going all in on his style of filmmaking. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And I will say, I prefer, it's, yes, it is heavily stylized, and for me that grew a little bit tiring, but I think it's still, I like that it is stylized, and it does feel like, if this movie was done by anyone other than Boots Riley, I don't think that this movie works. I don't think that, I feel like it's feels like a completely different movie. So I do commend Boots Riley for kind of going all in and making it truly his own.
Mhm. I also want to give a shout out to the cast of this because I think that they're really all great in their roles. Kiki Palmer as the lead was really fun to watch, but I also really enjoyed the side characters. Like I
Hmm.
thought Lakeith Stanfield's like brooding guy that she's interested in. His role was like really great. I thought Demi Moore was pretty good.
Hmm.
Um, and also just like all of the crazy side characters. I think that Don Cheadle like plays like uh he's in like a suit and like in heavy makeup, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Unrecognizable.
Yeah, like I did not know that was him until the end of the movie.
Yeah, same here actually. Um,
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I really enjoyed this one. Um, but who knows? Maybe we'll do one in the future, or maybe I Love Boosters will end up getting an Oscar nominee for best costume design. Um,
I feel like that's a very good possibility actually now that you bring it up.
I feel like if the Academy are brave and correct, they will do it. I mean, it could definitely get makeup too for that like
Hmm.
scene where she like goes, she's like that, where um,
Well,
because
Don
like
Cheadle
what was
alone
going
also.
on in that scene? Oh yeah, and Don Cheadle, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, but um, yeah, I could just go on about this movie. It's really fun, and it's only my number three. Um, but with that said, we rate things on the script coverage scale. So if you're new here, that means that if I rated a pass, it means that I didn't like it. A consider means that I thought it was just okay, and a recommend, which means that I think it's great. Um, well, obviously, since I'm gushing about the movie and it's in my top three, it is a recommend.
Yeah, I think for me it's a bit of a weak recommend. But still a recommend nonetheless.
In about a couple years, that will be a consider. I'm betting my life on it. You're just trying to be nice to me.
No, I like the movie.
Oh yeah, name one joke from the movie.
There was a lot of jokes in the movie, but I guess my favorite one is when they're watching the security footage and they see, is it Poppy Lou?
Uh-huh.
And she's like teleporting the clothes. I just thought it was a funny visual gag.
Yeah, it was because I thought it was a vacuum, and spoiler alert, it's not a vacuum. Um, but yeah, with that, I'll move on to my number two.
Sure.
Yeah, so I am going to go with Obsession. Um, like I said, all mine are recent. Are all my top three are from this year, from this month. And Obsession was a great movie. It does have the disadvantage of I saw it the earliest of these three, so I do think that with time, there's a chance that this could be my number one of the month. But I just really loved it. I thought that it was a really original take on a classic like uh I don't want to say like horror trope, but definitely like a story trope in which there's a guy named Bear who makes a wish using an evil stick that uh, his crush Nikki would become obsessed with him. And all of the horrible possible things you can think of happen because this is a horror movie. Um, and it's very, very freaky. Freaky Nikki.
Yeah, again, I did not get a chance to watch this movie. I really, really, really want to see it. But I mean, I've kind of heard nothing but good things about it.
Mhm.
And I mean, the box office that it's doing is crazy. I mean, it's less than $1 million to make it, and it's made over 100 million at the box office. And I believe in the second weekend, it actually went up. Uh, and which is kind of unheard of, like if you're a studio and your movie, you have your opening weekend, and if that opening weekend, if it's between 50 to 60% drop from weekend one to weekend two, okay, that's doing good. If it's 50% or less of a drop, then I mean you are popping champagne bottles, right? Obsession went
Mhm.
up, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it is doing exceptionally well for a low budget horror movie. And I do think that what we are currently in right now is like an internet director movie takeover. Um,
Hmm.
uh, we had Chris Stuckman doing Shelby Oaks. I don't think that did particularly well, but I do think it like did okay. And then Iron Lung, which is by Markiplier, uh, that did really well at the box office. I have not seen Iron Lung, um, but I don't think it had like critical acclaim. This movie by Curry Barker, he I think is less known than both of those guys, but he did a lot of like shorts on like YouTube and TikTok and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think I mean, he's just got a really good like vision and a good sense of humor. So I think that he really thrived from just making something that was low budget like that because he's been so used to making stuff that's like just like two people talking in a room and something crazy happens.
Yeah, it's funny. One of his YouTube videos has I haven't actually clicked on it, but it keeps popping up in my recommends, which is it's like um when your friend didn't like Dune, and it's just a picture of him, and I'm guessing he's gonna go off in some way. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's great.
Wait, Kirtana needs to see this because you two are the when your friend didn't like Dune.
Yeah.
She's the friend that didn't like Dune.
Uh-huh. Although I guess I'm not. I'm very. I mean, I enjoy Dune. I don't love it, but yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not the one who will go off and be like, "Oh my God, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, but I've also seen Milk and Cereal. I actually think I talked about it maybe a long time ago on the on as like a what else did I watch? Because it was very recent. I remember liking it a lot. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, definitely think that Curry Barker is going to have a good career. And no, he is not related to Clive Barker. He's not a nepo child.
All right. With or how do you rate uh Obsession?
Oh, definitely recommend. I mean, spoiler, but everything here is recommend of.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, it
given,
would be weird if you had Obsession ranked higher than I Love Boosters, but you gave it a worse score.
yeah, when you only have three options, it is like hard to say. But I mean, I definitely rank this higher than I Love Boosters
Okay.
because it's just more of a movie that like I like. is like up my alley. Whereas I Love Boosters, like there are times where maybe a joke doesn't land, but I
Yeah.
think it's overall great.
Okay. All right.
But with that said, yeah, like my number one for the month of May is The Backrooms, which I think is a hot take ish based on online reception. I think that it is being appropriately rated. I don't think that this is like a game changing movie in the sense of like what the story's about, but I do think that it does tie back into that YouTuber thing, that phenomenon that's going on. And personally, I just really love the intricacies of the backrooms and like what they mean. Um, this this feels like one of the more nostalgic movies that I kind of this is almost like what I wanted to get out of Skinamarink. Sorry, I was like trying to remember the name because it's like so long. This is almost what I wanted out of Skinamarink. Um, and I liked that movie, but I think that Backrooms did it better. And I'm excited to hear more of your thoughts on it.
Hmm. So yes, I did watch The Backrooms. I liked it quite a bit. It didn't, just like I Love Boosters, it didn't quite crack my list. I think, I think I think the horror stuff, the tension is great. I just think that like the first half of the movie is great, and then I think the second half of the movie I started to get a little bit um it started like the first half feels like a slow burn that is leading up to something. The second half for me just started feeling slow, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And then I don't think that the payoff was kind of worth the. I don't think it rewarded my patience towards the end, and the ending kind of. Yeah, I didn't love the ending, but overall, from from an acting perspective, the concept, um, and again, the actual tension that it has in the back rooms, I mean, overall, I thought it was great. I just think uh, there's some tweaks that would have made it a little bit better for me, at
Hmm.
least.
See, yeah, like I totally get that, uh, like that mindset, and I think that every everything that you said is pretty valid. For me, I agree that I think the first act is the stronger act. It's a lot of great setup, a lot of great tension and build up. The opening scene that's done in found footage is
Oh
really
yeah.
great. I'd say all of the found footage scenes are just like really good looking. Like they look crispy and old, and they
Hmm.
make the titular backrooms just so unappealing to be in. Like you don't feel comfortable like being in Clark's shoes, like walking through there at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is just really really creepy. Um, the found footage, I agree with you. Those scenes were cool. I think the extended version, the extended one, uh, when I can't remember his name, but with he goes, with his two uh,
Mm-hmm.
the
It's
two
like Cat
employees,
and Jacob. I
Kat and
think his
Jacob.
name
Yeah. Uh,
Jacob. I think I don't know.
I think I definitely got a little bit dizzy, but also I think that happens for found footage with me.
Right.
Um, I mean,
Oh,
I think
Bobby. My bad.
okay, Bobby. Yeah, found footage just tends to make me dizzy, and I think that is part of why I didn't enjoy the later half because I started getting
Mm-hmm.
dizzy, and then um, I felt a little bit off for the rest of the movie. So
Yeah, but I felt disoriented by this movie too. I think that part of how you could explain the second half of the movie is that it's very dreamlike. It's really hard to piece together some of the things that happen in between.
Hmm.
Like you don't know how much time has passed that Clark has been wandering the back rooms,
Yeah.
and it feels like the characters like just saw him, but for him it almost feels like he's been like doing this for like days.
Yeah.
Um, was the vibe that I was getting, and by the time that um by the time that he's with like Kat and Bobby in that scene, uh like for a bit you kind of like trusted him, and like he's kind of showing a lot of signs there, just thinking back to it, that were really like suspicious of him. Like
Hmm.
he knew that something was in the back rooms when he looked through that hole and saw the caveman poster get smashed, and
Oh
yet
yeah.
he brought Kat and Bobby in anyway, knowing that
Hmm.
they were in danger. Like that should have been something that I picked up on earlier, and then
Hmm.
like later, a lot more happens in the movie that I I almost don't want to spoil, because like there's just so many things that happen that will freak you the hell out, in a good way. Like yeah, I mean, so for me, as much as the movie does have a story that falls apart near the end, um I didn't come for the characters. I came for the atmosphere. I came to be freaked out.
Right.
Um and I think that the Backrooms did it um better than Obsession did, at least just personally. I think both movies are very unsettling in their own ways.
Hmm. Yeah. Did you know that they announced a sequel? Or apparently it's in
Yes,
early development, not necessarily officially announced.
yes, and I hope it's a play on the oldest view. I don't know if they're gonna actually lump those two stories together or not. I'm I think that a lot of the reception to this movie has been like, okay, this movie made a lot of money, we're gonna make another one. But also there's a lot of people who are kind of like mixed on it. I'd say like overall most people are mixed on it. Um and some of that comes down to like a lot of people in the fandom of the Backrooms wanted the movie to be one thing, and then I think they
Hmm.
got another.
Got it. Yeah, I haven't. I know you've just talked about the shorts. I haven't seen them personally.
Mhm.
So I was kind of going into this kind of knowing only what you talked about and
Yeah.
nothing else. I don't even know if I saw a full trailer to this movie. I think the only trailer I saw was it was like a very old teaser, and it's just the camera panning down, and you see a bunch of different rooms.
Hmm. Wow, so you really went into this like very
Yeah.
blind, very
Hmm.
fresh idea. Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend the original series. Just to It kind of just adds more layers to the viewing, but um I also think like you're landing where most people are landing anyway, which is that it's like most people think it's an okay movie. Um
Hmm.
that said, one of the reasons I said that um, people aren't responding to it well, that were like in the fandom, a lot of the Backrooms lore is different depending on whoever put it out there. Meaning that Kane Kane Parsons, the director, he's not the only person who made something about this story.
Right. Hmm.
There's people who have like stories about like different levels of the Backrooms, and people were expecting that to be in the movie, when this is just one guy's vision for what the Backrooms means, and like how he
Hmm.
interprets it in
I
film
guess
form.
it, I guess it does lead to like still good storytelling because apparently he did say he didn't want to contradict what he made and what others made. Um, and I guess because of just the vast nature of the backrooms, you could just have, it's the whole thing is that it's endless.
Hmm.
So you could just have literally anything, and you're not necessarily contradicting something else. So I do think that that part is, it's Yeah, there's a lot you can mine from it.
Yeah. Would you watch a sequel of this?
Oh yeah. hmm Yeah, I mean, I definitely liked it enough to. Again, I liked this movie. Um, I just didn't necessarily love it.
Gotcha. Well, I did. So I feel pretty good. I actually was worried that I wouldn't like it because I heard the reviews and everything. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. Is it my favorite of the year? I'd have to think about that. I don't know if I can say that, but still. Also, shout out to the awesome music that they play. Like it feels very liminal, but they also sample things like The Caretaker, which is like
hmm
big for that scene of liminal music. And I think they sampled a new Boards of Canada song, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I don't know if you're familiar with them, but
Nope.
they're just artists that I happen to know. And for anyone who is listening that knows them, let's talk. You know, hi. Um, but yeah, if I had to rate the Backrooms, I would give it a recommend, a strong recommend. Um, where does it fall for you?
I think I'd probably give it a strong consider.
Yeah, that's decent.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. All right, time for my top three. So again, I was out sick, so I didn't get a chance to watch many movies. I did catch up on some shows. So my um my top three is actually gonna all be shows. And coming in at number three is Deli Boys, which is well, so season two is actually airing right now, but I for some reason did not hear about this show when season one came out, so I thought season one just started. Um, but then I found out there's actually a whole second season. But I watched season one, and this show is it's basically about two Pakistani Americans who their dad owns a business, like not a small business, a big business. He started out owning a small convenience store, and then now he's like this global corporation. Sorry, not global, but um, they're I don't know if they're billionaires, but they're multi millionaires at least for sure. Um, and then their dad dies in a golfing accident, and all of a sudden they're getting raided by the FBI, and turns out their entire fortune is built not on the business that whatever they do, it's actually through the drug trade.
Hmm.
And now they're kind of just forced into this world in the craziest way possible, and they're trying to navigate it. So it's really really funny, but it's also uh, it also doesn't just rely on its humor. I'm also invested in the characters and also the story because it's just exciting to see what's going to happen, what turn of events are going to unfold, and um, I think the two FBI agents, specifically like the boss because he's super incompetent, are just hilarious. But yeah, this show it's just super it's just super enjoyable. It's not anything, it doesn't really hit hard in any way. Um it's also like it's consistently funny, but it's not necessarily laugh out loud funny. But I think it's just because um it's just tapping into a specific niche that I think I'm a little bit of a part of, and because of that, I just find it very very uh I yeah I just enjoy watching it, and it's an easy binge. The episodes are usually like 25 minutes, um and yeah, if I were to give a score, this would probably be a recommend. I really like the show.
I was gonna say that I was looking at the runtime for the show, right? And I was going to say that I've been meaning to watch more shows that are like shorter
Hmm.
because I've been having a little bit easier time like watching like anime and stuff, and I'm like realizing like this is actually like a
Right.
good length to like watch
Hmm.
it. So knowing very little about Deli Boys, like I would be willing to see it. I just don't know much about it, so it's very hard for me to talk about it. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's completely fair. I already gave my, I already did give my score real quick. I said it's a recommend. And then I'm ready to move on to the next, uh, my number two thing that I watched in May. I'm not sure if this, I think this might have technically come out at the end of April, but it's Netflix and it's 8 full-hour episodes. Uh, so I didn't actually watch it all in April. But that is Beef season two. Um, so season one of Beef was a show that I liked quite a bit. It was kind of one of those like half-hour comedy. Yeah, it definitely had some drama. I guess you can say it was a dramedy, but it was basically just about two people who get into a fender bender, and stuff just escalates from there. Beef season two. Uh, I was caught off guard a little bit because it's something completely different. It's not like this one thing that leads to a huge escalation. There's a ton of moving parts. And there was a point in the middle where I thought it was getting a little bit too bloated because you have like this country club that is controlled by a corporation in Korea, that corporation like bribes police officers and government officials, and it's like she's leader of that corporation. She basically is like kind of the most powerful person in South Korea, and I was like, okay, this is a little bit. I'm not sure how I feel about this. It just feels like they pumped a ton of money into something. But then it it does balance it well, and overall, I think I really like this season of Beef as well.
hmm I This is another show that I haven't gotten to see, but I actually have seen a couple of clips from the first episode. But obviously, this is a
Yeah.
anthology, so it's not really helpful pertaining to season two. I mean, overall, which season did you like more?
Um, that is a good question because um because it's just like they feel so they just feel so different.
hmm
Um, I think I think I would say I liked season one a little bit more. I think there was like a little bit of a relatability aspect to it where um I could see something like that. Maybe not towards the latter half because it did get a little crazy in a good way. But I could
hmm
see something like that happening to like my neighbor. Um, so and just hearing about that and it's crazy. I think season two is a bit um it is very far out there. Not that it's not good. Um, but yeah, I mean, so yeah, season one by a little bit.
Gotcha. Well, then I'll just start from the beginning when I inevitably catch it.
Yeah. Season one is also a bit of an easier binge, I would say, because I think the episodes are shorter. I think most of season two, the episodes are like 45 minutes to the full hour, while I want to say
hmm
season one is more like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I could be wrong about that though. I'm kind of just going based off memory.
hmm Got it. Then yeah, I mean, I think what's it called? Just from my memory, I know that the scene that I saw involved like a toilet seat or like a bathroom,
Oh yeah.
like what
Oh, that scene
Steven
was
Yeun does in
disgusting.
there. Yeah, like that's just like ugh, like it looks
Yeah.
so vulgar.
Hmm.
But it also looks kind of fun. Like they're excited to play people who hate each other so much.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the cast was all great. Especially Oscar Isaac, and then they also had um I don't know if I'm gonna say her name right, Yeon Yu Jung as Chairwoman Park. I thought she
Hmm.
was Yeah, I thought she was an incredible presence, and it's like the moment she enters screen, just the way that they film her, the music that plays, the moment like you just know like oh you do not mess with her.
Hmm. Is she from Minari?
She is, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. I thought that was her.
Hmm.
But yeah,
All right.
how would
Sorry.
you rate Beef season two?
This is also a recommend. Um, I don't think as good as season one, but quite quite good when on its own.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, okay, my number one, another show here. It's Hack season five. I did do a full episode, or not a full episode, but a standalone video where I'm kind of going over everything I like about it. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. But I mean, season five was awesome. It was consistently funny. There is an episode in the middle where Ava and Deborah are pretending to be a couple. It is maybe one of the funniest episodes I've seen in comedy, in like any comedy, but then I'm also just in it for on the ride because I'm so invested in I mean in this season Deborah wants to sell out Madison Square Garden. I'm so invested in her journey to try and do that and just figuring out all the little details. I'm not going to go into. I went into spoilers in my other video. I'm not going to go into spoilers in this one here, but oh my god, that last episode, I was like crying one minute and then laughing the next minute, and then I'm crying because of laughter a minute later. And I mean, it nails the landing. Apparently, the highest rated of the show, or the highest rated episode of the show, is the finale, um, which there's not very many shows you can say that about. Even Breaking Bad, that everyone loves, um, the finale is not the highest rated episode of that show. For Hacks, it is. So yeah, I mean, one of one of the best comedies I've ever seen, and one of the best uh, final seasons, one of the best finales.
I have constantly heard good things, mainly from you, about this show. So I hearing that it made you cry at one point is enough to sell me like, okay, I will start finally
Yeah.
watching Hacks.
Hmm.
But I might still go out of order and watch the Amazing Race episode first because
Yeah.
that is the hook for me with that because I just love those reality shows and I grew up
Hmm.
watching that show. Um,
That
I know you
episode
said you
was
don't want to
really
dive into.
funny.
Yeah, I was like, what was that episode like? Watching for you.
Um, so there is that episode was actually like an extended episode. Most of them are like 30 minutes, and then that episode was like 45, which
Oh wow.
for me, if there's one complaint with Hacks is that it's not long enough. Just like I will watch hour-long episodes of that show. Um, but it's very I mean it was an hilarious episode. They always have one episode where Deborah's daughter is there. She's I believe her name is DJ, and she's played by I can't remember the actress's name, but it's Dee
Hannah.
from
Wait. Oh, from Always Sunny.
yeah, Dee from Always Sunny plays Deborah's daughter. Um
I don't remember her name.
I want to say it's Catelyn Olsen, something like that. Um but she's like a she's an interesting character. Let me just put it that
Hmm.
put it that way. So it's I always love whenever she shows up, and it's kind of you have that's the A story. It's Deborah uh, and DJ um, going on the Amazing Race, and they are terrible at it. And then you have and it's funny because they're so dysfunctional, especially Deborah. Like she probably could do some of the stuff, but she's like, oh, I do not want to get my hands dirty here. And then you have Ava with her small side plot, which that one is more story focused, but it's still a lot of fun.
I see. Well, I definitely want to check it out. Did they do any roadblocks or detours? Is that does that ring a bell? I don't know.
There was definitely a bunch of challenges. I'm not 100% sure if
Did
that's
they
what it
rip
was
the little
referred to.
mail thing off?
Oh
Like they
yeah.
opened the letter? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they
Mhm.
were faithful. One day I will write an episode of TV in which the character who is in a completely different world will go on like Survivor or whatever, just randomly, and they'll be like the first out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would like to see Deborah or Ava on Survivor, and I do think that very good chance they are the first out because Deborah would not do. I don't think she's winning any challenges. Um, I don't think she's definitely not helping out at camp. She's probably just gonna boss people around. Um,
Hmm.
Ava, I think, would just annoy people because she is a bit annoying in the best way. She's not annoying to the viewer, but she annoys the other characters in that show, and it makes sense why.
Hmm. Right. Well, I look forward to seeing it. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm assuming this is also a recommend for you.
Oh yeah, easy recommend.
Mhm.
Strong recommend.
I'll have to check it out. All right,
Okay.
before we get to my worst, I need to plug in my laptop.
Okay. Do you want me to start with my worst since you did your best first?
Yeah, why don't you start with your worst?
All right.
Do your worst.
So the first one that I'm going to mention is it's not terrible. Like I said, though March, May was a great month overall. So this is more something I was disappointed in, and that's The Devil Wears Prada 2. We did a full episode, so I'm not going to rehash most of it. But effectively, I think the thing that didn't work was I feel like the movie didn't have much focus. It just it was like there's a they introduce they do the setup and you think that the plot is going to be about Anne Hathaway trying to help save Meryl Streep's reputation, and then 10 minutes later that's resolved, and there's like a new goal that's introduced. 10 minutes later that's resolved. And that's kind of what the movie is. It feels like a series of short movies put together as opposed to one overarching story that really builds and has payoffs and all that. Um, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's kind of why I was disappointing.
No, it's understandable that this lands here. I didn't get to see this one. I just ended up prioritizing a lot of movies, and it was probably sounds like it was for the best.
Hmm.
But I mean, that said, I mean, it doesn't sound like it was an awful movie either. So
No,
I
by
mean,
no
it
means. I
being in your
just
worst is reasonable.
yeah. Again, this would not be in my worst normally. It's just hey, May was a good month, and sometimes that's what happens.
Hmm.
Okay, and then um, I already gave it a score in our episode. If I um, if I'm going to score it again, it's a consider. Not a strong consider, not a weak consider, just a solid consider. Um, all right, I had to get a little bit creative on this list for the worst stuff. So my number one is not a movie, but it is OKC basketball because the playoffs are on right now. It's the finals. Knicks versus Spurs. Go Knicks. Um, but God, OKC. I just hated watching them. It was genuinely awful to watch because they would basically tackle the other team on when they're on defense, and then when they're on offense, it's like you breathe on them and they would just fall. Actually, it's funny because there was a guy in the crowd in one of the games. He had a T-shirt with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander saying MVP, but it stood for Most Valuable Flopper, and then the
Oh,
picture of him was like doing that and like falling. Um, so thank you, Wemby, thank you, Spurs, for making me no longer have to watch them for another round of basketball. So yeah, if I'm judging OKC as a team, hard pass. Uh, the series when they got eliminated, that was a recommend, especially that final game. That was awesome. But yeah, so I'm not talking about the series. I'm just talking about OKC.
um, what's it called? It's funny. I was literally just in a channel with my friend Ryan, and they're in a channel that says we're watching a movie, and I joined the stream, and they were watching the first game of the the final games. So, uh, yeah, that's not a movie, Rohan.
I know. I cheated. I had to get creative. But
It's
that
okay.
game seven, oh, that was a movie. That was cinema, to quote Martin Scorsese.
Did I tell you I was? Did I tell people on the podcast I was there for the Angels like fight in the stadium recently? Like I don't know if I ever
You
shared that.
mentioned it here.
Yeah. Well, that was like watching a movie.
Yeah.
It's just really far away.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also like I will say, sports it has its storylines. Like there's Shea Alexander back-to-back MVP. Is he the best player in the world? That was a big storyline. I would contend no. And then there was Wembanyama, I'm just gonna say Wemby. Um, Wemby thought he deserved MVP. I agreed also. So it was that battle between the two of them to kind of just settle who deserves the crown of best player in the world, and Wemby won that battle.
Gotcha. So okay, so I don't know rankings very well. I didn't realize that um, Wemby was number one. I thought it was Luca. So clearly I'm like very out of the loop. Because I thought it was Luca. But I maybe I recall him being number two or number three.
I
Now
mean,
that
there's
you said
no
that.
uh, players aren't officially ranked. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
they get awards, they get accolades.
Uh
Um,
huh.
yeah, I mean, and then people just argue like, hey, who's the best and all that. So, I mean, I'm sure right
Gotcha.
now there's people who would argue Luca is the best. And you can make that argument from a talent perspective, but like from a
Mm-hmm.
storyline perspective, it was kind of like, you know, Shea just won MVP, but Wemby is also going on a historic run. So it was, yeah, and Wemby won Defensive Player of the Year. So it's kind of seeing two of at least the top four players go at it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't mean like official ranking. I guess I meant like what the story is like saying like what
Hmm.
because I can only interpret so much from like what I hear and
Yeah.
what I see when I'm watching basketball, which
Hmm.
isn't a lot, but I mean I do tune in um, a lot. So yeah,
Yeah. Also, you probably hear more about Luca because he's a Laker and you're in LA. So,
yeah, it's a lot easier to hear that because I mean I went home to North Carolina and they could not stop talking about Cooper Flag. They love Cooper Flag. I mean he's cool. I'm
yeah,
sure he's
he's
going to be
good. He
good.
won Rookie of the Year.
See, see.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, why don't we talk about your worst?
Sure. So one of them I will not spend a lot of time on. It is Undertone, which we did an episode, me and Kirtana, on this and The Sheep Detectives, the two best movies to fall asleep to. Um, the Sheep Detectives because it probably sounds like a bedtime story, and Undertone because it will put you to sleep. That
Damn.
is so mean. I'm sorry. I think, well, at least with Undertone, like they have like cool audio stuff like that'll
Hmm.
lull you to sleep. It's not necessarily a bad thing. This is not the worst movie I've ever seen. Um, but yeah, it's just not. I would say this falls into the category of disappointing as well. I feel like it
Got
could have
it.
been a lot better.
Hmm. Yeah. How would you score it?
Well, I think I scored it at the time a pass. And I think I will keep it a pass, but that's a very like light pass. It's not like don't see it ever. Like
Right.
if you want to, like by all means check it out if it sounds interesting. But in terms of my personal score, it falls under like a 4, and like my threshold for pass is like, or for consider is like a 5.
Got it. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have I haven't seen much of this movie. I've just heard an interview of the with the director of the movie, who he was talking about how he tried to like optimize the sound for headphones, and apparently it's like if you're wearing headphones and you're like you turn your head, then it'll sound different. So thought that
Mm.
sounded very cool. But yeah, I haven't. But yeah, I guess maybe they do have that, but they don't necessarily have the the story's maybe not very engaging from what I'm gathering.
That's the main thing. Like the sound is really well done in it. It's like an ASMR movie, but it's just not very um engaging. I think like
Right.
all of the problems that people have with Mary in the back rooms, I have all of those problems with the main character in Undertone because like I don't even understand most of what happens to her character, and she's like the only one. Like that's way worse in a pool of 4 characters and
Yeah.
not quite getting all of them, but they have strong elements, and just like you have one and one of them is not good. So yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
So my second worst, it's a movie that I think um I was like really excited for, but and it technically did not come out 2026, but it had like a 2 year like waiting window, and it finally did kind of get released this year, um, just like in very select theaters. And it's Alpha by Julia Ducournau, director of Titane and Raw.
Hmm.
Um, I think this movie was disappointing for a couple of reasons, um, but for the most part, I'd actually like to say less about it because I think for people who haven't seen it, I kind of want them to form their own opinion. But the basic gist of the movie is that there is this girl named Alpha who goes to a party and gets like a tattoo on her arm, and she comes home from school with that, and a lot of trouble starts happening. Um, Not necessarily because of that, but bad things start happening to her because of all the bad things that are happening in the world that they're living in.
Yeah, that was very, very vague. I'm guessing it's like, yeah, I'm guessing
Mhm.
you're trying to avoid spoilers.
Well, I mean, if you've seen Raw and Titane, you know that Durkar is pretty into body horror.
Yep.
Um, Now, funny enough, I actually think this is her tamest in terms of horror. Like, I don't think this movie gets very graphic. It does get very gross. This is like a grimy movie that
Mm.
looks very gray and desaturated in a way that I just didn't really like. I mean, Titane and Raw have so much beautiful color, and like this movie, I'm sure it makes sense because this is like borderline dystopian society. Um,
Hmm.
Maybe like on the verge of it is how I would describe it. And but the movie looking that way just is very unappealing. I just did not like looking at the movie, which is really unfortunate because I mean I like the look of her other two movies.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, especially Raw. I think Raw looks like the cinematography in Raw is awesome.
Hmm.
Um, and I think Titan was also great. Uh, but yeah, it is interesting because I searched up Alpha and the only thing I see is the 13-year-old who lives with her mom. World collapses the day she returns with a tattoo on her arm. It's everything about this movie is so vague, it seems like.
Yeah, and I mean that's why I'm intentionally skirting around it. I mean, the gist of what you're missing is just that people are being afflicted with something that is causing things to their like to happen to their body, um, and in this world, some people blame people like Alpha because Alpha has that tattoo, and there's some things that are happening to her, some changes per se, like a coming of
Hmm.
age story. And the movie tries to pour in a lot of different ideas. Someone said this is the most confident flop ever, which I think is pretty funny, and I think it's true. It is true. Like it's not like technically bad, but I just didn't like any of its choices. So yeah, I mean, it's just a disappointing movie, but I mean, who knows? Maybe in time this will resonate. There's a
Hmm.
lot of movies that when they come out, they're pretty hated, and then people turn over and realize that they were actually way ahead of their time. Um, right now, I just don't think that's this movie.
Got it. Well, there is another Alpha uh coming out later this year. It's a Bollywood action movie. Maybe that will be better.
Hmm. Maybe, possibly. Um, I think there was also a movie called Alpha that came out last year, or like a year, like 2025, and had a more normal release. I mean, this one is a French movie; it's harder to get it here, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Was it in French? Because I'm seeing a lot of the cast in it. It's I mean maybe they are French and
Hmm.
I just didn't know they were French, but it's like Emma Mackey is in it. Um, the mom I can never pronounce her name, but I mean I didn't know she was French.
Hmm.
I mean it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah. It's in French. I'm a crazy.
okay.
I think part of it is that I mean Emma Mackey is someone who I was like, did I like forget like what language this was in? Because then I lose a lot of credibility. But no, it is French. And I don't know the particulars of all these people like knowing French. But I mean, there's been a lot of movies like that. I mean, Ethan Hawke did a movie that I think was like in French as well. And Julie, or no, wait, I think it was Julie Delpy did that because she's in what's it called? Uh, before trilogy. But then she's also in a lot of like French movies. So.
Yeah, and I mean I have heard some actors um doing movies where it's not in their um it's not in their native language or a language that they speak, and it's
Hmm.
they will learn just enough to make sense of it, um or maybe they'll learn uh or maybe they'll just memorize at least the words and they'll get the emotions out. Like I believe, I could be wrong about this, but I believe A Royal Affair, starring Mads Mikkelsen and Alicia Vikander. I don't believe Alicia Vikander spoke that language. Unfortunately, I cannot remember what that language was.
Hmm.
It's been years since that movie came out, but yeah, from what I recall, she did not speak. Oh, I don't know what my camera is doing there. Um, but she didn't speak whatever that language uh, was, but she was able to
Hmm.
deliver a good performance.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty common. Like I think more nowadays that there's that kind of like uh, crossover. Um, but yeah, overall, I guess back to Alpha, I do think the performances were fine, um, but it didn't really elevate anything. I'll be honest, I don't even remember. I know Emma Mackey's like a nurse in it, but I don't even remember like what what she looked like or anything in the movie. Thinking back on
Mhm.
it, it did have that actor um, who was in the Mauritanian recently, which was a movie that was like getting, I think he was like number 6 on like getting an Oscar nomination that year. I think it was like 2021, um, and he looks like very different than how he did in that movie. So I think there's some like positives to it, but like the makeup and the effects. But yeah, I'm just kind of I don't know. I wish it were better, but I will show up for another movie that she makes.
Yeah, I mean, I like her too. Kind of sucks that this one was disappointing.
Hmm. But who knows? Maybe you'll like it.
Maybe.
Well, with that, thank you so much for watching Pages to Pixels. I'm Kevin, and that's Rohan. And stay tuned next week to watch another episode on our favorite movies.
Thank you.
Thank you.